Hey everybody, this is Rich and thank you very much. I want to clarify something that's very important about this, okay? Whether or not I'm actually successful in this psychological malpractice, I want to absolutely clarify that I will always tell the truth. That's all I've known. I've clearly described that in the previous updates. Starting off in 1969, professionally managed all the way through Lake County. I did listen carefully on that specific video that in it was the revised 10, it was the 10-2012 revised introduction experience. I'm catching myself on that one that I said 1996 through 2001. And what's really behind that, because you can't hide that. I did that twice. And I'm going to keep it exactly in that form instead of covering it up. Is it guilt? Why I want to cover it up? I want the truth to come out here. And I'm going to keep it in that present-day form. Could it be guilt? I'm sure this is all going to happen. I'm absolutely positive with what I'm sharing with you. When I state what I have learned here out in Birmingham, I am not a person that would cover it up. And I'm fully aware, yes, it could be guilt too. But I'm going to keep it as the truth. Let me do this. Just so you know, this is referring to the YouTube video just before that. And you keep saying me say 1996, 2001 twice instead of 1986. Now, what's really behind that? And my natural reaction, for some reason, is to cover it up. I'm not going to do it. And then you could go on guilt. No, I'm going to keep that experience. Truly, it is not 1996. It's 1986, and by 1995, it's over and done with. I was searching with that experience. I've struggled with that ever since. That's as honest as I can be. I didn't know how to gain the wise counsel. And this has happened later. And I went actually for in a period when my hard skills really lost its value. I went back to the College of Lake County. I went for air conditioned refrigeration. That's all going to be taken in consideration. But that experience between 1986 through 2001 is 100%. I've only retained anywhere from 1/4 to 0.5%. My God, if I would have kept all those invoices, I could absolutely prove those. But I've got a little bit. It's just I had to retain some, because I was basically, it was, from age 9 to, all of the experience through Lake County over 42 years worth for the most part. That's all I know is the highest level of honesty and integrity. So yes, while I was still in Lake County, I knew I had that experience. I didn't know how to present it, and it's more, well, certainly when I explained it to the College Lake County, I got the answer immediately. It's relative exactly what's happened out here in Birmingham. You're dealing with two different types of incorporated norms. I've explained it. Called up to College Lake County. They clearly tell me that education is irrelevant with that kind of experience. Put me back on the Chicagoland North Shore compared to what I've experienced out here in Alabama. And literally, I've heard about things like that before. It's very interesting. I'm going to predate this. I'm doing this update, and I'm only going to have a couple of more spots to do this. I've got 10 more, and then we're going to have to post-date them. And I want to focus on those number 2s. The number 2s are going to be career. And what's gone on since 1986 to 2001, pick it back up in 2002, which is really where it was supposed to happen, the College Lake County, right at 2004. Then I want to share what has happened out here in Alabama. It's vitally important. I wouldn't sue anyone, but the likelihood of this truly being a psychological malpractice, whether or not there's immunity or not, I want the absolute truth to come out here. I want this truth to come out. And I understand it's going to be just endless maneuvers of all. And I believe when I mention historic, a medical malpractice or psychological malpractice, to be able to prove it, I do believe it is historic. It's a very outstanding example. When you look at it, what's been true for over 4, of course I'm going to keep it 1996. And I'm willing to say, is it guilt? No. That's about the time of your hard skills, that there were still some remaining clients that you had. I was financially outstanding, among the strongest of the strongest. Okay, so this is such a unique experience when somebody from out of state comes down here. I'll keep it exactly the way it is. Is it 1996 through 2001 or 1986? Of course I'm going to expect things like that. And I'm not going to hide it. And I'm going to admit that is about the time that your hard skills, except for Mary Dahlman in Highland Park and certain clients that I already had, I had altogether 1986 through 2001, I believe that period of the invoice. Let me show you this. That's what it was. It was a milk crate completely filled. And that was the Manila. It was a 3-part invoice, and the other one was kind of a stiffer cardboard. So how many of them can you fit in there? That will be honestly how much experience. Let me show you again. Let me make sure you can see this. Here, the light. Completely filled. It's the Manila. 3rd part I kept. I didn't keep. There was duplicates, and I kept the Manila one. And so, how many can you fit in there? That was from 1986 through 1995 along the Chicagoland North Shore. So that's how many of those professionals that I gained that experience. That I'm glad I can say that. It was full. It was completely filled. I threw them all out. I was crazy too, because I still have retained 1986 through 2001, but it's only about 0.25%. If I would have had all those, there's still some entries in those appointment books, but almost all of that was put on those appointment books, on those invoices. I didn't enter them into the appointment book. There was many that I did. See, I'm going to expect stuff like that. And that's, I would say, and I'm expecting this to come up. I'm expecting it to. Where you end up, you can never hide that truth. Never. That's exactly why I'm doing one of these updates. I'll have 10 left to predate. How many of these Manila? Not a Manila. It wasn't quite as heavy as a folder. It wasn't as heavy as a folder, but it was it was Manila, and it was a little stiffer. So how many can you put? And I could count this in inches. Tell me how many you can put in there. Okay? And I'm guessing easily a couple of thousand. And I threw them all out. Every crazy. I did retain. That is very often what I did do. When they called me up, I simply grabbed an invoice and put their name right when we were on the phone, or when I was in my truck. I had a cell phone at that time where I forwarded the yellow page ads to. And probably equivalent to this. You can't see it, but you can see. No, it wasn't even that thick. It wasn't that thick. But it was manila on invoicing. And it was a little stiffer than the actual carbon copy portion. And that was completely filled from 1986 through 1995. Most of that, almost all of that, was not ever entered into those appointment books. And I'm going to expect for the truth to come out. I expect it to be that way. If this ever materialized, to become a psychological malpractice. Good. Actually, only 11 minutes. Good. I expect for the truth to come out. That's all I've experienced for over 40 years. I can substantiate that from age 9 through over 40. Now I'm in an area that's a completely different incorporated norm. Unfortunately, I should have made that call to College Lake County in 2004 and immediately relocated up north again. Well, it's a little late now, I would say. The number 2s will be the career from 1986 through 2001. As a present-day form, I've learned, as I've related this to people, that's just invaluable. I'm a business professional. Clearly, as I stated, when I know that is not medical, that belief I have of what's been true for over 40 years. Unfortunately, the medical corruption, special interest, political environment, among other things, that's extremely valuable experience. If I were to take exactly that experience I gained from 1986 through 1995, be back on the Chicagoland North Shore, okay, and be able to utilize it, everything I have stated is 100% honest, no exaggerations, as I expect for that to be the same content. I said 1996 on that, 2012 revised experience, however introduction revised experience. I am not going to change that. I do not cover up. I won't do that. And so I'm going to be honest about it. What's really behind that? And I expect from this point forward to continue to be, of course I'm going to be honest. Of course I am. What I have experienced out here since 2004 should have been the call to College Lake County. Unfortunately, I stayed down here and didn't know about this. What I have described, and you obviously have the videos before, that really makes me look like a mess, as I describe the chain of events that occurred from 2004 forward. Sure, of course, that kind of behavior, you cannot hide it, what I just did there. I'll leave it up to you. I can just be as honest as I can be and let you know who I am. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I expect this to be one of the absolutely most significant challenges that I ever faced in my lifetime. I can honestly say it is not medical in any manner. And yet, where I am, I understand you have to come from out of state, and all of what I just stated, the whole thing I learned the last day or so. I go back up north with that. What do you think? How did that happen? What happened? as honest as I can be, is not medical. If those resources are utilized exactly in the proper context, regardless of the belief that it's medical, I absolutely promise you, I will be thoroughly honest. Put me up on the Chicagoland North Shore, and I don't even want to do the number twos yet. I don't want to get into that. I've already done it, and I'm going to try to be brief on them. Okay, because I've already done them. I'm dealing with an entire lifetime of bundling together tens and thousands of experiences and outputting it in words, sentences, and paragraphs. Up there, it would, down here, is out of control corruption. I have never experienced where there is no truth. It's just endless maneuvers and real powerful politics. The political environment, the medical corruption, the pharmacy. Again, it's exceedingly hard to prove psychological. And I believe there's a very good chance, whether or not there's immunity or not, it's what the final outcome is going to be. To take me after being this severely injured, or did I injure myself? And I'm going to say, I'm the one who has been injured. I will fully admit I stayed down here. God only knows how something like this can happen to someone. God only knows. But if I'm put exactly in that same environment again, performing exactly the same thing up and down the Chicagoland North Shore, where they verbally call someone out to their house, and it has to be based on the highest level of honesty, integrity, the healthiest contact, no other way. I will be one that really stands out from all of the other service providers, employees. They told me that. They told me that. So I'll leave this up to you. Sure, of course, normally it's obtained educationally. And so the College of Lake County has clearly told me that education is completely irrelevant. It's that experience that puts you so far ahead of other people. So how long would it take after what I'm about to disclose is going to happen out here in Alabama? I definitely do not fit the description of someone with anyone like that would ever happen to someone with that kind of background. But if you put me back on the Chicagoland North Shore, and I will need help, but it's not medical, I'd incorporate very quickly with the most successful. Again, that's what I need. That's the help I need. I'm being very straightforward about that, instead of trying to figure it out. You won't have to understand the basis in any manner behind any of it. I am thoroughly disclosing it all. I'm dealing with a huge amount of information, and it's much easier to do it chronologically. I've still skipped all over the place, but I'm dealing with a whole lifetime. You don't even have to have me meet with anyone. You have it. You have these videos, and I guarantee you, what I understand, the background, that I didn't realize it took a while. It took a while. And that's why I'm going to include the number twos. I'm going to be brief on some of them. And I'm also dealing with what actually happened in 1986 through 2001. I'm calling the College of Lake County in 2012. After I'm having, it's very challenging. Could you imagine? This never should have happened. Something that's completely irrelevant became, and it happened that way. It happened that way. Everything I'm stating, I will always be. I cannot hide I cannot hide my body language. That I cannot hide. What I absolutely do promise you is I always tell the truth. because that's all I've known for over 40 years. And then I came out here. I didn't know anything about anything out here until it happened. I had to learn it and experience it. But we're going to keep that 1996. I expect a lot of that to come up. Misunderstand the utmost importance of clarification and very direct communications is absolutely non-existent out here. And yet up there, that's all it is. I'm describing to you of actually being transformed to a completely different incorporated norm in about 8 years. And when I mention, yes, I believe it's for the social sciences, this is a very outstanding example that has the potential to be exceedingly high profile. No, I would never want that to happen to me. No, are you kidding me? It's too late. I've got a significant challenge ahead of me, and you recover from that injury. And the recovery from the injury is the medical in any manner would not be any help. There's no reason for me to meet with anyone. I know it's going to happen, but I'm going to do all I can to provide the substance so you're really seeing me go through this. You understand me. You get to know me. Very unique for someone to be able to do that. I take it that there's going to be some clarification. This is of the most rough draft form. I'm going to really attempt on number 2 to really get down and clarify the 1986 through 2001, pick it up again 2004 forward. It started in 2002. Actually, I got down here, I believe, actually, as I look back, it may have been 2001. I'd have to look at the exact date. I found those original copies, thank God, that I shared with you yesterday, thank God. It may have been that I actually got down here in 2001 or 2002, but I was all ready to go 2004. Right there was a crucial point to be focused only on professional career counseling. Then you're going to see what followed. The contrast between the difference of the two, I have learned the difference between the two incorporated norms. So let's get to it. Let me focus that now career will only be number 2s. I know I'm skipping all over the place with date ranges, but I am keeping you know what you're relevant to. This specific update, I am going to decide instead, since I only have 1/10/2012, I'm going to predate this. There's not going to be many more of these. I'm running out. I mean, really, once I get near that current date, I may post-date some as the actual event is unfolding. You're seeing it real world. You're going to see it. Isn't that cool? It's exceedingly high profile. Whether it actually materializes or it's just a solution, what is the solution? To get me up to the Chicagoland North Shore as quickly in that exact same experience that I understand is very valuable. It would be very unique to gain that type of experience. I have been thoroughly honest. It is not medical in any manner. Normally you would think it's that. I've lost 8 years through this. And I would transform in about 6 months to a year. That investment would multiply tremendously. I absolutely promise you. It's not medical or psychiatric or psychological in any manner. In any manner. Something like this should have never happened to someone with the background that I come from. It has happened. And I have to be fully accountable for what's true about me. And it's only me. I'm responsible for only me. We can only share. And, okay, good. I'm running out of time on this, so let's pick up the number 2s. That's what's most important, to clarify this. I already have, but I'm going to clarify it further, and I am going to jump around to certain date ranges, okay? I'm going to share the experience one more time, and I'm going to have to put it in present-day form. And I'm going to do that with the number 2s. Thank you for letting me be who I am, and I think you're beginning to understand me much better. That's a lot of substance that I'm sharing with you chronologically. It's a tremendous amount. And some of it is quite an experience, I can tell you that much. Some of this I would never believe could happen to me. That's what I can honestly say. But I'm me. Only responsible for me. Was I injured? We'll get to it. Did I injure myself? Or was I injured? Put me exactly in the same situation up north with experience that I can fully substantiate. Put me in that same setting. And how quickly would I recover? Probably pretty doggone quick. Keep me down here. Guess what's going to happen? I've shared that yesterday. I've learned that over the last day or two. It's two completely different incorporated norms of the most powerful, and they can bring you down to your knees. As honest as I can be. I wouldn't believe I'm saying that. Let's get started here with only number 2s of the time period, career-related only. Thank you. Thank you for investing the time in me.